Okay, so I want you to picture your inbox on a Monday morning.
Oh, I'm already stressed.
Right. The coffee hasn't quite kicked in yet. You're scrolling through the usual chaos, and you see an attachment.
Yep.
The subject line reads, ROI Report 2025. Be honest with me. What is your immediate visceral reaction?
Visceral. Probably the urge to hit delete.
Uh-huh.
Or, maybe archive it for a later that we all know actually means never.
Exactly. ROI Report sounds like the absolute driest, most corporate kind of reading material you could possibly find.
It really does.
But, and I need you to stick with me on this, we are going to deep dive into this specific report today. Because after reading through it, I realized it's not really a report, it's a survival guide.
That is a very fair assessment. We're looking at the HubSpot ROI report for 2025. And, calling it a survival guide isn't hyperbole. Yeah, if you look at the macro environment, businesses are in what some analysts are calling a growth crisis.
A growth crisis. That sounds a little dramatic, doesn't it? Or is the data actually backing that up?
It feels dramatic until you look at the pressure leaders are under. I mean, customer acquisition costs are up, budgets are tighter.
And the old methods just aren't working.
They're not hitting the same way. The whole premise of this deep dive is to look at the data HubSpot has from thousands of their customers across marketing, sales, service, you name it, and figure out how the heck companies are actually growing right now.
Because the old playbook is failing.
It's not just struggling, it's actively failing.
So our mission today is pretty simple. We aren't just reading numbers. We need to figure out how to squeeze more juice out of the lemon.
Right.
How do you get more growth with less time and, let's be real, probably less budget than you had 2 years ago?
And this source material, it's fascinating because it highlights this very specific tension. On one side, you have customer expectations that are just skyrocketing.
We've been trained by Amazon and Netflix. We want everything instantly, and we want it personalized.
Precisely. Customers want you to know who they are, anticipate what they need, and they want it 5 minutes ago. But on the other side, businesses are drowning. They're drowning in fragmented tools, disconnected data, just general operational noise.
So the customer's demanding perfect and fast, and the business is saying, hang on, let me reset my password for the third time so I can check a different system.
That is the core conflict. And this report argues the only way out isn't working harder. It's a radical shift in how we think about our tech.
Okay, let's unpack that drowning feeling. Because the report starts with a landscape analysis, and I think it's going to trigger some people. It starts with the problem of 15 tools.
It's a staggering number.
Is it really 15? That seems so high.
The data shows that, customers are juggling 15 plus separate tools across different vendors just to manage their customer experience.
Wow.
I mean, think about it. You've got your email platform, your social scheduler, your CRM, your ticketing system, your analytics.
Okay, when you list it out, I might actually be over 15. That's 15 logins, 15 subscription renewals.
Yep.
But beyond the password headache, which is real, what's the actual business cost of that?
The real cost is the data silos. It's that simple. If you have 15 tools, you have 15 little islands of information.
So marketing is on their island. Sales is on a different one.
And customer service is stranded on an archipelago somewhere else. They don't talk to each other.
So marketing sends a buy now promo to a guy that sales is already talking to.
Or worse, someone who is furious at customer service and has an open ticket.
Right. You look tone deaf.
Exactly. And this fragmentation, it leads to a really scary statistic from the report about AI.
Okay.
We all know AI is the buzzword of the century. 88% of SMBs have implemented some form of AI system.
Sure, everyone has a chatbot or is using a text generator.
Right. But, and this is the key part, the report finds that only 13% of those businesses actually have the data infrastructure to leverage AI effectively.
Wait, hold on. 88% are using it, but only 13% have the plumbing to make it work.
It's a massive gap.
That's huge.
It is. And it's because AI needs context. If your AI only sees the data in one of those 15 tools, it's basically blind. It can write an email, but it doesn't know who it's writing to. Not really.
So it's like hiring a genius consultant, but locking them in a room with only half the files.
That's a perfect analogy. You're paying for the genius, but you've handicapped them. And the stakes for closing that gap are huge. The report cites rising customer expectations, but here's the carrot. Companies that actually meet these expectations by unifying that data see 41% faster revenue growth.
41%. That's not a rounding error. That is significant.
And 51% higher customer retention. So the choice is pretty stark. Adapt and unify or stay fragmented and just Small.
Okay, so we've established the villain, the 15-tool chaos. Let's talk about the solution HubSpot is pitching. What's their answer?
Their answer is moving away from the idea of just a CRM to what they call a customer platform.
I have to be cynical for a second. Is that just fancy rebranding? It's not a car, it's a mobility solution.
I know, it sounds like marketing speak. But functionally, it's different. The key word here is unification.
Okay.
The report calls it the power of one. Instead of stitching those 15 tools together with, duct tape and APIs that break, you bring everything onto one code base.
One login to rule them all.
Essentially. And the user feedback backs this up. 83% of users say HubSpot is effective at unifying their company's data in one place.
That's pretty high.
It is. But the really interesting number is about their AI, which they call Breeze.
Breeze, okay.
It's their embedded AI layer. And 96% of users say HubSpot Breeze unifies their teams.
That is a staggeringly high number. 96% agreement on anything is rare. Why is the AI getting the credit for unification?
Well, it goes back to that blind AI problem we just talked about.
Right.
The aha moment is that AI isn't magic dust you sprinkle on top of broken software. AI is an engine. And that engine runs on data. Because Breeze sits on a unified platform, it has access to all the data marketing, sales, service, all at once.
So the AI actually knows that the person chatting on the website is the same person who opened the email yesterday and has a support ticket.
Exactly. It's not guessing. It knows. It has the full context. It connects dots a human would miss because they're too busy logging into 3 different screens.
Now, I have to ask about usability. Usually when a software is powerful and unified and does everything, what I hear is complicated.
And expensive.
And you need a PhD to operate it.
That's the historic trade-off, right? Enterprise power equals enterprise complexity. But the report claims 92% of users say HubSpot is easy to use and adopt.
That's a critical metric.
It is. The best software in the world is useless if your team refuses to log into it.
Or if they just use it as a glorified Rolodex.
Exactly. Adoption is the biggest hurdle to ROI. If the team actually likes using it, the data gets entered. If the data gets entered, the AI works. It's a chain reaction.
Okay, so we have the landscape, the solution. But this is the deep dive. I want to see the receipts. Let's go through the numbers, department by department.
Let's do it.
Let's start with marketing, the lifeblood. You install this unified platform. What happens?
Well, if you're looking for inbound leads, the numbers are aggressive. The report states that customers using Marketing Hub see 3x the number of inbound leads after just 6 months.
Triple. In 6 months. I have to push back on that. Usually when you implement a new system, productivity dips for a while.
I know, it seems counterintuitive, but if you break it down, website traffic specifically sees a 167% increase in that same time frame.
Okay.
Lead volume jumps 230% at 6 months, and by 12 months, it's up 317%.
But why? How does a tool increase traffic? Is it just magic?
It's the unification. When your social tools, your email, your website, your ads are all talking to each other, you stop dropping the ball. You capture people you used to lose. But there's also what I call the AI multiplier.
The AI multiplier, go on.
Customers using the Campaign and Content Assistant, those are the Breeze AI features for marketing, see a 54% higher lead conversion rate than those who don't.
So not only are you getting more traffic because the system is tight, the AI is helping you write better content that actually converts those visitors.
Precisely. It's efficiency driving effectiveness.
Right.
It helps you repurpose content, write better subject lines, optimize landing pages faster than a human could do alone.
That's a huge takeaway. Consolidating tools isn't just about saving $50 on a subscription. It's about the fact that when tools talk, you actually make more money.
Unification is a revenue driver, not just a cost saver. That's the shift.
Speaking revenue, let's pivot to sales. Leads are great, but you can't pay the mortgage with leads. I need deals.
And this is where the efficiency story gets really compelling. Customers with Sales Hub see a 94% increase in deals closed after 6 months.
Almost double the deals. That's the headline.
It is. But I want to focus on a different metric that I think is actually more important. Time.
Time to close.
Exactly. We all know time kills all deals. The longer a prospect sits in the funnel, the more likely they go cold. The report shows that customers using HubSpot AI sales features see a 48% decrease in average time to close.
Whoa. Stop. You're closing almost double the deals.
Yeah.
And you're doing it in half the time.
That is the definition of scaling. You're not just working twice as hard, you're working faster.
How is that possible, though?
It's about removing the drudgery. There's a specific tool mentioned called the prospecting agent.
The prospecting agent.
Yeah.
Sounds like a character from a spy novel.
It kind of acts like one. The report quotes Brandon Borges, a senior director of business development. He says this agent handles the research and outreach so he can focus on high-impact work.
Okay.
His quote is, "It's doing better research than I could."
That is humble, but also a little terrifying.
Maybe a little, but think about how much time a rep spends Googling a company, finding the right contact, verifying their email.
Hours. Easily hours.
The AI does that instantly, so the human salesperson only steps in when the prospect is actually interested. They spend their day closing, not researching.
So the AI tees up the ball, and the human hits the drive.
Exactly. And there's one other multiplier here I don't want to skip. Partners.
Yeah, yes. The agency angle.
Customers working with partners agencies who really know the ecosystem close to 4x more deals.
4 times.
Yeah. It shows having the tool is one thing, but having expert guidance on strategy is a multiplier on top of the multiplier.
Okay, note to self, don't go it alone. Let's move to the third leg of the stool, service, because once you close them, you have to keep them happy.
And this is usually where the wheels fall off. You triple your leads, you double your sales. And suddenly, support is just overwhelmed.
The dreaded, your call is important to us, please hold for 45 minutes.
Right. But the data here shows a 57% increase in ticket close rate after 6 months with Service Hub.
Again, we're seeing that speed increase.
And again, AI is the heavy lifter. They highlight the Breeze customer agent. This is the chatbot on the site, but smarter.
Right.
There's a quote from a Jorgen Schwanefeld. He noted that the agent handled 238 conversations autonomously.
Autonomously, meaning no human had to get involved at all.
0. That's 238 issues resolved or questions answered without a human needing to open a ticket.
That is pure gold for a support team. That's sanity. That's 238 interruptions that didn't happen.
And overall, the report says AI features lead to 39% more customer issues resolved. It's a volume game, and AI lets you handle the volume.
You know, there was one specific stat in this section that I circled in red ink. It's my favorite. I call it the life hack stat.
I think I know which one you mean.
Users save an average of 2.4 hours per week using HubSpot Breeze.
That's a very tangible number.
2.4 hours. That is literally leave work early on Friday time. That is actually take a lunch break time.
It brings it back to the human element. We talk about revenue and velocity, but saving 2.5 hours of drudgery a week, that changes an employee's relationship with their job.
Absolutely. It's the difference between drowning and swimming. Okay, we've covered the landscape, the solution, the data, but numbers on a page are one thing. Let's hear about real companies.
Right. The case studies.
Who is actually doing this?
The report highlights a few great ones that feel really grounded. One that stands out is a company called Clearwing.
Clearwing, what's their story?
They went all in on the Marketing Hub. Their goal was pretty straightforward, better lead gen. The result, they drove $8 million in revenue. But the ROI percentage is what made me double-check the math.
What was it?
4,200% ROI.
4,200%. Okay, that sounds like a typo. How is that even possible?
It's a mix of the revenue generated versus the software cost, plus all the savings from consolidating those other tools.
Oh, okay.
When you cut out 5 other subscriptions and drastically increase revenue, the math starts to look pretty wild.
That is incredible. What about on the sales side?
There's a company called Design Group, or DTJ Design. Their challenge wasn't lead volume, it was speed. Their sales cycles were just dragging on too long.
A common problem in B2B. Great meeting then. Silence.
Exactly. By unifying their data, they cut their sales cycles by 62%.
62%. That's massive. That's going from closing in, say, 3 months to closing in 1.
Exactly. They shared a specific win where they closed a $375,000 deal in just 3 months, which for them was less than half the usual time.
And why? What was the secret?
It was because the sales team had instant access to the full customer history. They didn't have to email marketing to ask, hey, what did this guy read? They just saw it. They knew the context.
It goes back to that power of one. The information was just there.
And if we zoom out from just those two, the broader stats hold up. The report says 30% of customers see ROI in 6 months or less. 63% see it in a year.
And overall?
95% of customers achieve positive ROI. It's almost a statistical certainty that if you adopt it and use it, you will get your money back and then some.
So let's try to land this plane. We started with a growth crisis and a PDF most people would archive. We found out that this 15-tool chaos is actually what's killing our growth.
Correct. The old way of stitching solutions together is failing because it creates silos. And in 2025, you can't use AI effectively if your data is locked in different rooms. It just doesn't work.
The solution presented is this unified AI-powered platform, HubSpot, that doesn't just sit there like a database.
Yeah.
It actively works for you.
Exactly, and that's the shift. We're moving from software that records what happened to software that helps make things happen. Unification is the new efficiency.
I love that. Unification is the new efficiency.
If you want to survive the growth crisis, you have to stop fighting your own tech stack.
I want to leave our listeners with a final thought based on that 2.4 hours saved per week statistic. Because we talk about business growth, but time is the only resource we can't make more of.
Let's hear it.
If you could actually automate the drudgery of your workflow, the data entry, the searching, the repetitive emails, and you genuinely got back 2.5 hours this week, honestly ask yourself, would you use that time to rest, which is valid, or would you use it to grow even faster? Because for the first time, technology is actually giving us that choice.
That is the pivotal question. The time is there for the taking. The question is, are your tools giving it to you or taking it from you?
A huge thank you for walking us through the HubSpot ROI Report 2025. If you want to see the charts and verify that 4,200% number for yourself, check the show notes. We've got the full report link there.
Always a pleasure.
Catch you on the next deep dive.